We get into, well, the issues of men's health, really. Simple as that. Kiwi bloke, what we can talk about, what we can't talk about. Just recently, you may or may not have seen an excellent report on 3 News by one of our senior reporters, Michelle Pickles. Her subject, Craig Bullock. He is doing the New Zealand Ironman in Taupo. Okay? Plenty of people are doing the Ironman in Taupo, but this is quite an achievement for somebody who only stopped himself from committing suicide when he saw the damage of what had happened when his own friend, killed himself. Craig is on the show to talk about his battle with depression and pay tribute to the inspirational All Black who's helped him beat the bejesus out of the disease. Let's have a listen to Michelle's track before we start with Craig.
There are many reasons why ordinary people take on the extraordinary challenge of Ironman. Craig Bullock's reason is simple.
I've been to the lowest of the low, and I think the euphoria of crossing that finish line is just going to be amazing.
Bullock suffers from depression. He was diagnosed in 2007. He hit rock bottom 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's a scary thing. So I just sort of, like I say, just shut myself away for weeks and just not want to see the outside world. And I had a flatmate who committed suicide probably 3 years ago. Who was a flatmate, but he was a very good friend as well. And that was probably one reason why I didn't do it, purely because I saw what it did to his family. But yeah, at my lowest point, I could see why people would do it.
But if I don't work out at least 3 or 4
It was
times,
this man, All Black great John Kerwin, who helped turn Bullock's life around.
Now, it's not the physical buzz that makes me feel good, it's the mental buzz. It's that little feeling of self-reward or goodness that comes from moving around that helps me feel better mentally.
I saw it and I just went, shit, that's me. That is exactly how I feel. So I ended up, bought a pair of shoes, strapped them on and went for a run. Yeah, I lasted about 100 metres before sort of keeling over and thought I was going to have a heart attack. But after that, it was just sort of, after each training session, I could feel myself feeling a hell of a lot better.
He never imagined he'd get the chance to thank Kerwin in person.
Been an interesting journey, eh?
Oh, it has been. But thanks to you, I've been able to do it sort of thing. So it's been awesome.
No, it's not me, mate. It's probably been inside you all the time, so it's important to find something that you love and something that you feel good about.
Since Bullock began training a year ago, he's shed 23 kilos, and the weight of living with depression is gone too. How would you feel if you inspired someone else?
I've said all along, if I can change one person's life on this journey, then, well, it'll actually be 2 people's lives because I've already changed my own, but if I can change another person's life, then I've succeeded.
Bullock's racing to raise money for the Mental Health Foundation. And while the 32-year-old says depression is something he may always struggle with, he's now learnt how to control it, thanks in part to the man he describes as amazing.
Good luck and let me know how you get on.
Will do. Thank you again.
No, don't thank me.
Brilliant.
The only thing I can say is, spread the word, brother, spread the word.
I'm just flabbergasted at the moment. Usually I can't shut up, but yeah, this is one of the times that I'm lost for words.
It'll be the words from John Kerwin that Bullock reckons will give him the inspiration he needs to complete his Ironman journey on March the 3rd.
Radio Live. Sunday Sport with Hamish Mackay.
Well, Craig Bullock joins us now. Craig, I hope you're not going to be lost for words, mate, because we're here for the next 45 minutes or so as we're going to explore this journey that it's become and where you've got to and where it's taken you and where you are now. First of all, though, you're only a few days away from doing your first Ironman?
First Ironman.
First Ironman. How are you feeling? In good nick? All ready to go?
As ready as I can be, I guess. Nervous, sort of getting excited and everything, but I'm just trying to keep that under wraps as well.
Yeah, but that's a good place to be, isn't it? All that
exactly.
Excitement and a smile on your dial, because it hasn't been like that.
No.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's go back, 2007?
Yep, 5 years.
5 years ago?
Yep.
You're a bloke coming towards, 26, 27 years of age. What happened?
To be honest, it's probably a culmination of things. I was in a relationship that started breaking up. I ended up, I bought a business right in the downturn that started going pear-shaped and just a whole lot of things. And it was just a lot of little things building up. And being a Kiwi bloke, you sort of sweep it under the table and just go, nah, there's nothing wrong with me.
So you were the only guy in the world who had financial problems, the only guy who had personal problems, you know what I mean? You're probably seeing that as it's only me, you know, I'm the guy, and it's closing in around you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we don't talk about those, because I bet you bottom dollar we all have those issues.
Oh, exactly.
But we're lucky enough to just have one of them. Yeah, you know.
Well, exactly. I just thought, well, if I spoke about it would just be seen as a weakness.
Yeah.
I think I went to an all-boys school as well, so it was sort of like just beat into you that, you just don't talk about your emotions. You sort of, you're seen as weak and stuff like that if you do that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got a couple of things starting to go wrong, starting to sort of feel like the clouds are closing in on you. What's the feeling like? Where does the path go?
Well, like you say, clouds coming in. It is. It's just like it feels like a big dark cloud is just coming in, and everything's just. I just ended up turning off from the outside world. I'd end up locking myself away for days, weeks on end, not speaking to anyone. My family, my mum and dad lived just around the road from me, and I wouldn't speak to them. I wouldn't phone them. I wouldn't talk to them or anything. And that was probably the time when they knew that something was wrong, and more or less took me kicking and screaming to the doctor to go and sort myself.
Okay, how long before they did that? How long was this going on before how long before they really sensed he's a danger, you're a danger to yourself?
Probably 6 months, because I was good at hiding it as well.
Yeah.
My friends didn't know.
So you could mask it when you had to be in certain social, like John Kirwan could pick up a ball and score a try in front of 50,000 people, but on the inside he was just burning up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It is. You sort of learn to be a great one to just hide it and just, get out there and just have a fake smile and that sort of thing. And it was tough, because it's tearing you up inside, because you know there's something wrong, but you just can't put a finger on it. Was
it with you 24/7?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So even when you're sort of in a social situation, there's just 20% or what percentage of your head going
90% of it. Sort of 10% was going, I should be here because this is going to be helping me.
Yeah.
The other 90 is going, I want to get the hell out of here because I'm hating every moment of it. Everyone's looking at me. Is
that what you thought? Everybody's looking at you?
Yeah. Okay. Going into large crowds and stuff like that, I'd be bricking myself, because I'd think everyone would pick up that there was something wrong with me.
Yeah. Okay, you said your parents were. What about your friends? What are they? What were they seeing? What were they recognising?
They weren't seeing me at all, to be honest. Yeah. I sort of just pulled myself out of social engagements, or I could come up with a book full of excuses. I would just, anything under the sun, I would make an excuse not to do something that makes it organised and stuff like that. Okay. It was a shame, because I missed out on a lot with my friends.
Yeah. What were the changes that were happening then? What were the things that was happening to you, mentally, physically? What was, packing in, I guess? You were just...
Oh, it was. Like I say, I, as a child growing up, I was active. I'd play every sport that I could get my hands on and just get out there and do stuff. But during that time, I'd just lock myself away, eat to feel better. I'd be drinking a fair bit as well, putting on weight. And it would all just be a vicious circle, because you start feeling bad, you look at yourself in the mirror, you see you're getting a few more love handles here and there, and then you start going back to that food because it makes you feel better, and drinking more because when you're drinking you actually feel as though you're feeling better. But it's just a horrible circle.
When you were a teenager in your early 20s and active, what sort of weight would you have been?
Probably about 95-ish or something like that.
95-ish. And then what did you sort of go to?
120 was my biggest.
You got up to 120.
And that's when I thought, oh my, I've got to do something here.
What sort of stuff? Were you drinking, like, heavyweight stuff to get, to sort of numb the pain a bit?
More binging.
Yeah.
It's sort of, like if I did go to a social event or something, I'd drink to make myself interesting and sort of thing, to try and hide the way I was actually feeling.
Yeah. And did you feel like taking anything else other than alcohol?
No.
Didn't get to that stage? No. Okay. And what about... what was your day like? What did you do? Was it a struggle to get out of the sack in the morning? Did you? What was it?
To be honest, if I actually got out of bed, it was tough. More or less be traipsing to the fridge, grabbing whatever's in there, and heading back to my room, sort of thing. So it was just a horrible existence. But from me, I didn't notice that was wrong, that there was anything wrong with me. It had to be my mum and dad had to sit me down and say, listen here, there is something seriously wrong with you. You need to go and seek help.
Okay, so even in your initial stages of seeking help, did you see a way out, or were you still sort of, this was weighing heavily on you?
Oh, it was still weighing heavily. When the doctor finally told me that, you have depression and I'm going to be giving you these drugs to help you out of it, I just went into denial.
Yeah.
I was just thinking there is absolutely no way that I've got depression. It's just I'm just having a bit of a moment.
A moment that was ongoing.
That was ongoing.
For months.
Months
and months and months, and you still couldn't see it.
Still couldn't see it.
That's one of the scary parts, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
That you're right in it, but you can't see it. Okay, well, there's an event, of course, that happens to somebody close to you that changes a lot, and we will pick that up in a moment. We'll take a break. It's 21 minutes after 4. We're talking with about-to-be Ironman Craig Bullock, who's turned his life around after the depth of despair, of depression. Radio Live, back shortly.
Sunday.